In the age of social media, where stories of hope, resilience, and tragedy spread like wildfire, one tale rose above the noise, but not for the reasons you'd hope. This is the story of Madison Russo, a seemingly normal college student from Iowa who claimed she had acute lymphoblastic leukemia, stage 2 pancreatic cancer, and a spinal tumor the size of a football. Her harrowing tale touched the hearts of thousands. Her GoFundMe raised nearly $40,000. She inspired cancer patients, gained the sympathy of strangers, and became the face of bravery online. But it was all a lie. This isn't just the story of a scam. It's the story of loneliness, a craving for attention, and a warning to every good-hearted donor online. For the next 30 minutes, we unravel how Madison built a lie so believable, even doctors were fooled, until the internet turned its gaze and started asking questions. Madison Russo was not a public figure. She wasn't a celebrity or influencer. She was an ordinary 19-year-old girl living in Bettendorf, Iowa, attending St. Ambrose University, where she studied health sciences. By all accounts, she was intelligent, outgoing, and ambitious. She shared motivational content online, seemed focused on her career goals, and was liked by classmates and teachers alike. But Madison harbored emotional wounds. In court, she described her home life as extremely broken. She said her family had been separated since she was 2 years old, and that she'd grown up with a longing for connection, stability, and emotional attention. This is crucial. Because Madison didn't just fake cancer to make money. She did it, according to her own words, to get her family back together, to make people care. The lie, it seems, was born not just from greed, but from desperation. In early 2022, Madison began posting on social media about her diagnosis. Not one illness, but 3. Acute lymphoblastic leukemia, stage 2 pancreatic cancer, and a large tumor wrapped around her spine. To most, that would sound like a death sentence. But Madison positioned herself as a fighter. She documented her treatments through staged photos, hooked to IV poles, with feeding tubes in her nose, and patches of hair loss. She posted emotional videos about chemotherapy side effects and explained how she was freezing her eggs in case treatment made her infertile. She made videos crying in pain, shared progress updates, and quoted inspirational lines about fighting cancer with courage. Online, people rallied. Friends offered prayers. Strangers sent money. Cancer support groups featured her. Some parents, who had lost children to cancer, reached out to help Madison cope with what they thought was a devastating diagnosis. It was all fake. She had never been diagnosed, never received treatment. The hospital rooms were staged, often just parts of her own home, and many of the medical props, IV bags, tubes, wigs, were purchased online. Her story spread fast, and soon she had a GoFundMe page. She titled it Madison's Cancer Journey and began raising money for what she claimed were treatment expenses. She raised $37,000 to $39,000 from over 400 donors, many of whom were struggling financially themselves. Donors ranged from close friends and classmates to complete strangers. One woman in Tennessee, Rhonda Miles, had lost her daughter to cancer and now ran a charity to help other young patients. Rhonda connected deeply with Madison's story and even made a personal trip to deliver a donation. Local media picked it up. Madison gave interviews and appeared in news segments about her battle. She was asked to speak at cancer awareness events, gaining recognition across Iowa. This wasn't just a scam. It was a performance, a masterclass in emotional manipulation. Not everyone believed the story. As her videos gained traction, medical professionals on TikTok began noticing strange inconsistencies. For instance, IV bags that weren't connected properly, feeding tubes taped in the wrong direction, chemotherapy setups that didn't make sense. One nurse publicly recreated Madison's video, using similar props to show how easily someone could fake a cancer setup. Others began questioning her diagnosis timeline. How could someone with such a severe prognosis be attending school full-time and giving speeches? It wasn't long before police were tipped off. In January 2023, investigators subpoenaed her medical records. They found zero evidence that Madison had ever been diagnosed with cancer or had received treatment at any area hospitals or clinics. On January 23, 2023, Madison was arrested and charged with first-degree theft, a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison. A search of Madison's apartment revealed everything: a wig, medical equipment purchased online, saline bags and syringes, feeding tubes, and financial documents detailing how the GoFundMe funds were used. Some of the money had gone to purchasing a Kia SUV, and she had spent some on clothes and dining. But even more disturbing were the notes police found: drafts of scripts, detailed planning on how to stage photos, and timelines outlining how to talk about fake procedures. She hadn't panicked or blurted out a lie one day. This was premeditated, organized, and deliberate. In June 2023, Madison pleaded guilty. She repaid the $39,000 before sentencing, hoping for leniency. On October 20, 2023, the verdict came down. The judge sentenced her to a 10-year suspended prison sentence, 3 years of supervised probation, 100 hours of community service, $1,370 fine, full restitution to donors. The judge refused to expunge her record, saying, "This is a serious crime. People who deal with her in the future deserve to know she once engaged in this scheme." Madison's name is now synonymous with betrayal. The cancer community, once her strongest supporters, felt hurt, angry, and betrayed. Many donors expressed heartbreak, not just over the money, but because they believed her. They cried for her. They prayed for her. Her family, already fractured, is now more distant than ever. Her friends have withdrawn. Her college reputation is shattered. Madison has deleted her social media accounts, but her name lives on across true crime forums and scam watch lists. She has become a case study in psychology, deception, and digital fraud. How could a 19-year-old carry out such an elaborate lie? Was it pure manipulation? A cry for help? A symptom of deeper mental health struggles? And what does this mean for legitimate patients? Thousands of cancer patients rely on fundraising platforms to cover life-saving treatments. But after cases like Madison's, donor skepticism has increased. Some families now struggle to raise money because donors are afraid of being scammed again. Madison's actions didn't just affect her. They hurt the entire online giving community. The story of Madison Russo is more than a crime. It's a tragedy. A tragedy of a young woman so desperate for connection that she faked death to feel alive. And in doing so, she left a trail of broken trust, hurt families, and lasting doubt. This is a reminder: compassion must be balanced with caution. And sometimes, the most unbelievable stories are too good to be true.